Two for Chirping with Dajon Mingo, the guest that is returning from the first episode of Two for Chirping. A little bit of a different feel. Mings, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good right now. I'm coming back from injury, and hopefully this weekend I get to play.
Yeah. Well, this weekend is now retroactive. I told you this before we hit record. This is
Yes,
coming out after.
This is true. Yes. So,
So at this point, I'm 5 games in. I'm happy to be back.
yeah, 5 games in, got injured. Now I'm happy to be back here. So
How many games did you go? I'm trying to think. And by the way, just because we're honest on this podcast, new look, as we said, Rachel Walbrown, our social media coordinator, is putting some stuff together. I think she is actually going to be hosting a couple of episodes at some point in the summer or during the playoff run. They're going to give me a little bit of a chance to be more immersed with you guys, which I look forward to. But, man, stressful day. I hope my face does not reflect the lights behind me because, all the damn audio issues in the world are happening for the first time. And thank goodness it's you, Mings, who's a good guy that's cool with all this. But back to you. You were here. I remember Emil Viro was the guy that hit you from Toledo.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then you came back. How many games were you back before you got hurt again? 2?
I was injured for 2 months, came back, 5 games, I think, because we played Newfoundland, and then we went to Toledo, we played them.
Yeah.
And then we played Wednesday, and that's when I got hurt, and I think it was against the Mavericks, KC. Because all the fans are like, we're going to beat KC because the Bengals lost to them. Mm-hmm. So I remember that. So Wednesday I got hurt, and that was only 5 games.
I remember coming down after the game because everybody was so mad because of all the penalties.
Yeah.
Painter was chasing the one referee down and stuff. And I saw you, and I went, oh, man, because you were in a sling. I was like, God, not again. So, I mean, that being said, how have you handled this year? This has kind of been a weird but I think maturing year for you. Am I allowed to say that? I mean,
you can say that, yeah.
In your personal life,
yeah.
You have a house.
Mm-hmm.
In your professional life, you've had some games now behind the bench as an assistant coach.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so while you've navigated through injuries, this has not, in my opinion, been a terrible year for you because of the experiences you got on that side of things.
Yeah. Obviously, I wanted to play. That's every player. They want to play. But fortunately, Painter let me go behind the bench with him, because that's what I want to do. So I want to be a coach, and I believe I'm going to stick to it. We'll see what happens. But I want to be a coach, so he let me behind the bench, and from there it just took off because he let me run the D. I wasn't sitting the guys because I didn't want it to be awkward.
Yeah.
So I would be like, hey, Painter, what do you want to do over here? Because just sitting guys on my own and then playing as well, it would be so weird.
Yeah, that's
they'd be like, Mingo's sitting me, this and that. He's a player, and I'm just like, man, I didn't sit you. Painter's just like, sit those two. I'd be like, all right, cool. All right, I'll sit you.
It was that guy.
Yeah. So doing that, and then obviously I have the house here, which I love the house. And the dream or the idea is to maybe, who knows, I can coach here, so I don't have to worry about anything like the apartments or anything.
Yeah.
Just I have my house here, but if I go somewhere else to coach, then I'll probably talk to you guys or something, have someone rent it out.
How are you handling this? Well, I guess now it hasn't been as much, but how did you go through life away from being at the rink? Because outside of COVID, maybe that's something you can harp back on as something that's like, oh, I've been here before. But I mean, you guys were practicing and you weren't having to come to the rink all the time. You were at your house a lot. So, I mean, were you kind of in the itch to get back, or because you've admitted this is kind of the tail end of your career?
Yeah.
Are you kind of at peace with it?
I was more in the beginning with my shoulder. I was just more of I need to get back because once we get cleared to ride the bike and all that, we have to come to the rink, ride the bike. Yeah. So the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I wasn't coming to the rink because of my shoulder, so I can't do anything. So I'm at the house, so I have stuff to do at the house, and I forget some of these guys don't have a house. And they just are in these little apartments, and they come to the rink, and I'm just like, I have stuff to do around the house. So I do stuff around the house, and then I take my little naps. But, but other than that, I will come to the rink, and then I'll be here early. This is why everything changed, because I was just like, let me change my mindset. instead of coming here when the guys come here, I'm just going to wake up around 6:45 and then get to the rink around 7:45.
Okay.
So I've been doing that every day now, ever since my shoulder, and then ever since I got cleared from my foot, I've just been getting to the rink around 7:45 and then working out and riding the bike.
And then after that, now before you were cleared for the ice, would you do all that, then go home?
I would do all that. So I would come early, do all that, and then go on the ice and practice with the guys, and then I would go home.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you were just coming in early to just put some extra work in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Is that like, does that kind of help you mentally?
Yeah, 100% it does. Because I'm not sleeping longer and just driving like, oh, I got to go to practice. Like, I'm there, I'm up, and then I'm there before everyone else. And then everyone knows I'm there because they hear the music just blasting.
Oh,
they're like,
right.
oh, Mings is here.
Dude, how different is this year to last? Because, and I feel like I want to ask you this because when we recorded the first episode of 2 for Chirping with you, it was in April. It was, or maybe it was in May. It had to have been in April. It was right around the start of playoffs.
Then, yeah, probably April.
Yeah, but it was after Newfoundland because I know we talked about that.
Yeah, then it was in April.
yeah. So we all know. We know it was in April. But like, that season, you guys were like clawing to just barely get in.
Yeah.
And I know you're really honest, and I feel like I can ask you this. Like, at the end of the day, us losing to Toledo, I almost feel like we were more happy. Like, hey, we pushed them to 7 games.
Yeah.
I feel like that team from a season ago was like, hey, rah rah, like we did a really good job, even though we lost in the first round.
Yeah.
This year's team is totally different.
Oh, 100%.
That's how I was going to ask you. Like, how are you kind of seeing that? I know you haven't been on the ice for a lot of it, but to just get the feel in the locker room. I mean, we're a month away from the regular season ending, and we already clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah. So with that, like last year was more of, I don't understand what happened last year because we had the team to be number 2 in our division and right behind Toledo.
Yeah, we should have been.
I mean, it's just, it didn't happen that way. We couldn't find our rhythm last year. We weren't winning 6 in a row. We were win, loss, win, loss, win, win, loss, loss, loss. Yep. So this year it's just like win, 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 loss in overtime. Win, 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 loss in overtime. Win, 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 win. We're getting points.
Yeah.
And the thing is about this team this year, everyone's like just tight and a bunch of tight guys and everyone's getting along. And we just keep winning from that, and then we have what I want to say. I want to say something. It's just right out of my head. But with this team, it's just more of we have guys sitting out. Like I haven't played really this year, and then we have D core that can back me up.
Yeah,
Griffin's out.
Yeah, no kidding.
We have these guys backing him up. Like Yush went up. We still have these guys. Like we have a team that whoever sits out can take that spot. And then we're still on a roll. So this year we have that impact. Like it's just like NBA, the Sixer, the bench. The bench is, you will go far in playoffs if you have a bench. And we can go far if we stick to the system because we have the bench.
Yeah.
So we have a bench this year. Last year it was just, I don't know.
It's got to be a combination of that and just authentic chemistry of like, you talk about having a good time. Part of it has to be that too, right? Like I feel like when you mentioned the room, it's not like last year where, and I don't want to, I mean, it's politicking. It's, yes, right? You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, that it's just like when you see a high school, like there's the popular kids and there's like the in-betweeners and then there's like the loners.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like this year, everybody's got their own wrinkle to them, but everyone is on the same page. Does it feel that way? Like,
it feels that way. Feels that way. Even if we're having a bad game, the guys would be like, all right, we got this. Let's get it together, this and that. Even if Painter like comes in and yells at the guys, it's just like, all right, well, let's get it together because we're playing right now.
Yeah.
So he's going to do his job and yell at us, but we need to figure out like what we need to do.
Yeah.
And then all the guys come together, and that's why you see this long streak that we've had.
This has been an unbelievable, like near franchise best streak. By the time this airs, it may be a franchise best.
Yeah.
We're 3 games away from that. I feel like everything is coming easier. I feel like even my work, like I was thinking about it, like now we clinched playoffs, like I'm obviously going to still try, but like I have so many game notes to do and stuff. Maybe I should just take a shortcut. Use
No shortcuts. You got to keep
Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Do you know what Chat GPT is?
Chat.
Yeah, not Chad. I don't know that guy.
No.
Chat GPT. Is it because you're older? You think?
I think so.
Maybe you're not with the times.
I'm not with the times.
Dude,
I got to get on this.
Yes, you should. And actually, if you record your voice, so it's all about this like AI stuff. I'm a big podcast guy. I'm a big Joe Rogan fan, as a lot of people know. And so you can, like, this is crazy. Like, college kids are getting like A's and B's on papers that are being written by Chat GPT. What it is they're going onto the website. I'll be honest. What I'm explaining to you is something that's been told to me. I actually have not gone on this yet, but I'm going to.
Okay.
But like, they will go in and say, hey, write me a paper on the history of critical cultural communication, citing these 3 sources.
Do you pay them?
No. You voice that in. You talk that into your computer.
Yeah.
And then this automation within minutes writes a paper.
Come on, really?
And you just have to like.
Why did I have this in college?
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my
We had
gosh.
Quizlet in college.
Yeah.
I was taking online courses and just using Quizlet. So do I get my degree retracted for that? I don't know.
I use Quizlet too.
Yeah, everybody did, man.
Yeah.
I had like a 98% in psychology.
We had one guy that was really good at cheating, and he would use his feet and turn the page. Yeah.
Dude.
He was so good at cheating.
No way he had shoes on, though. He's bringing out the white tube socks and just flicking them with the toes.
He would just like,
sicko.
Just looking down too. And I'm just like, because I'm like, this is the smartest guy on our team. And he has to cheat too. And I'm just like, all right, whatever, dude.
But dude, they've got that. Then they've got like an AI voice. So like, I've been getting tricked lately. I'll go to drive and I'll like just play a YouTube clip. I don't watch YouTube. I just like to have the video and then I just like listen to the audio. Because I can't find those same audio clippings on like Spotify or iTunes.
Yep.
So I like listening to Joe Rogan clips, not the whole pod. And I was playing some and I'm like, what is going on? And I looked down and it's like, it's not Joe Rogan. It's Joe Rogan AI GPT. It's his voice. It's his exact voice.
You can use voices too?
Yeah, you can record 2 minutes. You have to record 2 minutes of your voice.
Yeah.
And you can just like, it could be 2 minutes of this conversation without me talking, you going for 2 minutes. And I can pull it and I can have you say something totally different in your voice. There'll be a slight moderation, a very, very slight one that you have to pay attention to. Otherwise, it would be like, what did Mingo just say?
Oh my gosh.
Because it could be something bad.
Yeah, this is getting wild.
This is getting scary.
This is getting wild.
What's your thoughts on technology?
You know, I'm not a big guy on technology, but I mean, I use it.
Well, of course.
Yeah, but it's getting out of hand, I guess, if I want to say that.
Do you think you would ever, like, if given the opportunity, and it doesn't exist, but, like, think you would recoil back? And what I mean by that is, like, would you go back in time or, like, maybe choose a different lifestyle?
No, I wouldn't.
Like Amish?
No. I don't mind, but no, I like my lifestyle growing up. My growing up was fun, so I had no technology. We're outside playing. We're the only time like we knew we needed to come home when we hear a whistle. And
this is like old school, man. You're like 33, right?
Just a whistle, yeah.
You're not that much older than me. I don't remember.
I'm just 32. Yeah,
32.
Yeah. Can your parents whistle?
Yeah. There's nothing.
Like how loud? Because we heard ours around the corner.
So that's what
like I mean. All the way around the block. We're like, oh, we got to go home.
I've heard this story from my grandparents though, that were like 60 and they'd be or in their 60s now, and they're like, oh, I remember when Mom, would let us know. We'd be on our bicycles down the road. And
yeah, it's the same. Like like my parents would just
Xbox.
Whistle, and I'm just like, oh shoot, because we're always playing like hockey or basketball somewhere.
Yeah.
Or we're in the pool at our neighbor's house, and then whistle like dinner's ready. I'm like, oh, we gotta go. Then we're just like, let's stay a few more minutes.
So you weren't like checking your cell phone?
I didn't have one.
When did you get your first cell phone?
I got my first cell phone in, I want to say middle school.
Okay, so that
like 7th grade.
I think I'm the same. So, okay, so I guess when you're 10, all right, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
Your mom didn't call the neighbor's mom.
No,
she just whistled.
It was a whistle.
Is that your mom or your dad?
Dad. You just whistle.
And you're just like, all right, guys.
Yeah, and then if the parents are outside, they hear, and then they go in and say, hey, just whistled, you got to go home. Everyone knew the whistle around the neighborhood. Everybody.
All right. So was there ever a time where the whistle came and you didn't go home?
Yeah.
And what happened?
That's when he gets in the car and then comes looking.
Is that a bad thing?
Yeah. It's a horrible thing.
You're gonna get your ass beat.
Yep. And we're just like, I knew I should. Or if we don't hear the whistle, then that means we're somewhere that we shouldn't be.
Okay, because you're too far away.
Yep.
That's interesting.
And then we've done that a lot too.
What's the worst thing you can remember getting in trouble for as a kid?
The worst thing? I didn't get in trouble like that. I was a follower, so I always followed my sister. So when I was younger, we would like try to sneak and do all this stuff, but she would go first, and then I would be second, and I always got caught.
Oh, you got caught sneaking away.
Yeah, I always got caught.
All right.
And then I was a snitch back in the day too. So
okay.
It was Jaleesa. So I was always snitching back in the day, but I always got caught too.
Bro, it sounds like you're snitching still.
No.
When the guys are getting benched, and you're like, hey, it wasn't me.
Hey, it wasn't me, but I'm just saying, like, that was him.
That makes you a snitch.
No,
You're a snitch, man.
I'll be a snitch for that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, for that reason, I'll be a snitch.
It's got to be a tough dynamic, right? Going from like being the coach to like the player. Like,
yeah,
that's why you had to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's just, I didn't mind it. Like every time the guys came, I would like tell them like, hey, you could have did this and that. Obviously, the game is so fast that even if I say something, it's just like, all right, well, what time was that? Do you remember like what happened? I'll be like, this is like you. That's why coaches write stuff down.
Yeah.
And players just don't remember.
I think I need to write stuff down more because I get in the same mode where they're like, hey, that second goal. I'm like, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Like, and we're talking the same night. You know, it's just like you said. There's so much that goes on in a game. It's crazy.
I will remember because I'll come to the bench and I'd be like, what happened right here during this time? He was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I remember most of the stuff, like especially me if I make a mistake or if I don't think I did and think a forward could have did something different, I'll ask. I'll come back and be like, hey, like what happened?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, we just have to watch it on video at intermission.
All right, so speaking of video, this is kind of a segue. But, like, I know you said you're not a big tech guy, but it doesn't mean, like, obviously you have a phone. Your house has TV.
Yeah.
Are you watching anything during this time off? You got any shows you like or just sports?
Honestly, I have the app FX, so random movies come on, so I just put it on there. And then I'm honestly on the computer because I have my Mingo hockey camps.
Okay, yeah.
So I've been doing that lately.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
I started during COVID year. I was just like, you know what? We're not doing anything. Everything's shut down. Let me just get my own business. And it's $230 to start your own business.
Wow.
So it's not hard to do.
No.
You just have to have the motivation for it. So I did that, and then I started putting stuff together for it. And then I was getting ideas from other people. And so I was just like, all right, let me just try this. Because this is when I was in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So I go, all right, let me just try this in Jacksonville. So I'm nervous for it, and I'm just like, who's going to sign up, this and that. I had 60 kids sign up for my first ever camp.
Wow.
So I'm just like, oh, my God. But that's like nerve-wracking. 60 kids?
Nerve-wracking, but it had to feel good for you.
It felt good after it was done.
Okay. That's fair.
Like during, it's just like, because it's 7 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So it's a long day. And then I just go home, then eat, and then go to sleep because I got to be back at the rink at like 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Because I have to set everything up. So I brought breakfast for the kids. I had lunch for the kids. And so all that, just making sure everything's on time and that you have everything, it's just, at the end of the day, at the end of the weekend, it was just like, all right, what a relief. It was actually good.
Yeah.
And everyone wanted me back, so.
And I know you're going to be doing more of those this summer, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, again, full transparency. I pulled my phone out while you were on there because hopefully this shot will be just of you. But I started at the beginning of this saying like, man, we're running behind as of all days because you and I have a hospital visit to do.
Yep.
So I think we should do a part 2 of this at some point.
Oh, we can, 100%.
We will probably get to the end of this one though here. This will be a slightly shorter episode. but I think there's a big question that I do want to ask you at the end here.
Okay.
And you'll know once I start getting into this a little bit. When you were announced to sign with the Cyclones this season, said this is my last year. I believe this is my last year.
Yeah.
I wonder if because of the injuries, has that stance changed at all? Have you teeter-tottered on it? Do you think I'm going to start throwing you a bunch of stuff and then you kind of dissect it all to me? If you are healthy and let's, God willing that you're healthy for the rest of this regular season and the playoffs end in June with you lifting a championship above your head, is that storybook ending enough for you to be at peace with the end of your pro career, or is it somewhat diluted because you didn't get as many games? You probably envisioned playing a full 72-game season, or at least close to that. Kind of unpack that all for me. Where are you at right now?
So, because we talked downstairs, not me and you. It was more of, I was talking to some of the guys. I'm just like, man, like I played 15 games this year. So the teeter-totter was, it was going.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, Burke, what do you think, man? Should I go or should I stay? Should I play another year? He looks at me. He goes, no. He goes, just retire. Because if you're going to think about it every time you do it, then you're just going to keep playing. He goes, why come back when you know you want to retire? So that's what I was like, all right, Burke. Burke came back with something serious. I was just like, all right, Burke.
Yeah.
But with the 15 games I've played, I've been on the teeter-totter about it. But if at the end of the year we win and hoisting the cup up, I'll be happy.
You can't have a better ending.
Yeah. That'll be the best ending, like for my career, like ending wise, like that.
Well, and that's the thing. I think you'd rather see yourself end on top than be one of these guys that is like a shell of their former selves. Not to say you would be that, but what he's saying about like you're just going to keep coming back every year. Yeah. Eventually, if you keep doing that, life and father time will catch up to you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to be the player that you want to be.
Exactly. Yeah. So I understood what he was saying there, but if I win and then if we don't win at the same time, then I think I'll be done still because I just need to find out what I need to do, which I know what I want to do. I want to be a coach, but I give you the big but here. If I don't like get a job during the time, or if nothing opens up like that, I will play another year.
Okay.
Yes. So there's your I will play another year.
Yeah.
If I don't find anything that I like, then I will play another year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing. A silver lining on your 15 games is you might get up to 20, 25 regular season by the end of this. And then if you win a Kelly Cup, buddy, we're playing another 20 plus. So by the time June hits, you might feel like you've played a full season.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Uh-huh.
So, well, listen, I hope that whatever happens is the best for you. I think above all else, championship or not, and obviously we hope it is a championship, but for you yourself, taking care of the self. I just want you to be happy, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So let's put a bow on this and let's do a part 2 at some point here. We had to wrap this up. You're continuing to be a good Samaritan for the Cyclones. So from one event for the team to another, we're going to go visit Cincinnati Children's Hospital with a couple of the guys. But hey, hope you guys enjoyed this new look, this kind of new visual for the podcast. And again, with Dajon Mingo. Mings, as always, man, it's a pleasure.
Oh, I love this podcast, man.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
Fan favorite.